Thank you, Dan. The rain remains torrential here at Bramall Lane. There's a strong wind whipping around this part of South Yorkshire as well. So a perfect scene for such a big game on a Friday night. And the teams come out for the 130th Steel City Derby. Blue and white to the left, red and white to the right. And as ever, we have an atmosphere which matches such an important occasion. A crowd in excess of 30,000 here, but two teams heading in very different directions at the moment. A win for Sheffield United, they will be back on top of the table ahead of the programme tomorrow. But defeat for Sheffield Wednesday, and that would be their worst run in the Championship since 2012, when they lost 7 games in a row. Really, the wheels have come off after such a promising start to the season, and another defeat here could have real repercussions for Josh Lahukai. He made his debut as Sheffield Wednesday manager here in the Steel City Derby in January. On that occasion, his team really played for him, really played for the shirt. They gutsed out a 0-0 draw, which just helped to put Sheffield United on a bit of a slide after such an impressive opening half to the season. But now Wednesday arrive here as the underdogs, irrespective of what Chris Wilder says, and they really need some sort of result here this evening. A reminder of the two sides. 3 changes for Sheffield United. Chris Basham, Chris Duffy, David McGoldrick come back into the side. Trainee, Coots and Clark all drop out. It is Henderson in goal, Basham, Egan and O'Connell the back 3, Freeman, Norwood, Fleck and Stevens across midfield, with Duffy just behind Sharp and McGoldrick. Billy Sharp, when he has scored in Sheffield United's last 20 matches, they have won every single one of them. 4 changes for Wednesday. Palmer, Pudel, Onomar and Nuiu drop out. Fox, Thornley, Baker and Hector come in. It is Dawson in goal, Lees, Hector and Fox 3 at the back. Thornley, Pelupesi, Bannon and Penny across midfield, with Baker and Reach alongside Fletcher. Not too many empty seats inside Bramall Lane. There's an area of uncovered seating just in front of the Sheffield Wednesday supporters behind the goal, away to our left-hand side, and that's also in the top tier as well, which houses United supporters. And it's Sheffield United who finally peel away to the right-hand side with the huge cavernous cop stand behind them. And we've seen so many great games between these two over the years, Simon, and games which can often be turning points for both clubs, and this has the feel of maybe something similar, particularly for Wednesday tonight.
Yeah, just go back to what you said, Nigel. Impeccable from both sets of supporters, wasn't it? The minute silence to all those that lost their lives all them years ago. So you got a derby match where the passions are showing are really high, but the respect that both had for all the people that lost their lives. But going back to the football, yeah, of course we're talking about form and who's going to come out of this game. It's going to be, you can hear it now, the atmosphere is ramping up from both ends of the ground. The first challenge is going to go in. I'm sure it'll be a free kick. Will be quite early in the game because they'll all want to make a mark on where they're going to how they're going to set themselves out with this game tonight.
Well, the football weekend is underway on TalkSport 2, the home of the EFL, and it's Sheffield Wednesday in their blue and white stripes who get the 130th Steel City Derby underway, playing from right to left towards the Kop here at Bramall Lane in the first half. And now Reach out on the left-hand side. The ball is poked back towards him as well. The challenge comes in from Duffy and it spins behind, and it will be a goal kick for Sheffield United. They start this game 3rd in the table, 9 wins, 2 draws and 5 defeats, but only 1 win in 4 after that run of 4 wins in a row, which took them to the top of the table. Wednesday languishing down in 17th, 5 wins, 4 draws and 7 defeats, only 4 points now above the relegation zone, and they have had 4 defeats in a row with only 2 goals scored and 12 goals conceded. And that performance against Norwich last week really looked like a side in disarray.
Well, it did, especially when you see the goals. Talking to a few people before the game, they said they actually hadn't played too badly the first half, but then just crumbled. Seems to be a soft underbelly at this moment in time when they concede a couple of goals, and that's something they'll be looking to rectify tonight.
United in the red and white stripes, moving forward now down the left-hand side with Fleck forward towards Sharp on the edge of the penalty area. Try to poke it through towards McGoldrick, but it's smuggled away by Lees, and it will be a throw-in to Sheffield United on this near side, which O'Connell will take. They operate with three central defenders, but O'Connell and Basham in particular are very mobile and will try and get forward at every opportunity. O'Connell with a high ball forward into the penalty area. It was headed clear almost into the path of Freeman, but it's eventually sliced clear by Hector up towards the halfway line. Reach will then challenge with O'Connell, and Reach is losing out to Fleck on this near side, and Sheffield United quickly get the ball back, and characteristically they pop the ball around at such speed. But now a poor ball wide from Basham on the far side is cut out by Pellier-Pessi. He exchanges passes with Penny, but the ball will dribble out on the far side, and it will be a throw-in to Sheffield United. It's quickly back towards their goalkeeper, Dean Henderson, on loan from Manchester United. Of course, had such a good spell at Shrewsbury in League One last season when they ended up going all the way to the playoff final when they started off as relegation favourites. Egan brings it forward now for Sheffield United. Unrelenting noise in the opening moments here at Bramall Lane on TalkSport 2. Basham popping up in the left wing position, driving forward. He's challenged by Thornley, and Thornley's done well to bring the ball clear initially. Then he loses out to Basham. Basham has support in field from Duffy, but it's clipped forward looking for McGoldrick, and it's cleared away by Hector up towards the halfway line. But United come again. Basham wide towards the far side. The early ball into the penalty area looking for Sharp, headed away superbly at the near post by Lees. Now Reach will try and bring the ball clear for Wednesday. He loses out. It's clipped forward into the penalty area for Sharp again, wide on the left hand side. Needs support, has it from Stevens. McGoldrick waits at the near post. Stevens holds on to the ball, has support from O'Connell. Now Sharp again on the edge of the penalty area, left hand side, looks to work the angle with Duffy. Duffy now looks for support, and Wednesday have had time to get all their bodies back around the ball. Norwood with an excellent pass to change the point of the attack. Basham charging forward now on his right foot, drives it low into the penalty area. It's blocked by Hector. Basham then heads it wide towards the right hand side, and Freeman. It is all Sheffield United in the opening 3 minutes here. 0-0 on TalkSport 2. Duffy again, now down the right hand side, looks for support. It's played back towards Norwood, and square and driven in by Fleck from some range, and it's turned aside. A brilliant save by Cameron Dawson. It's a corner.
Great start from Sheffield United. They've been on top from the first whistle. They've got the wide centre backs are joining in as full backs. We had Chris Basham in the 18-yard box, keeping the ball really well. Got it out to Fleck, who lets rip with a fantastic left-footed shot and a great save.
Corner for United, flighted high towards the far post. Rising is O'Connell, but he was never quite set for the header, and as a result it harmlessly loops over the crossbar, and it will be a goal kick. 4 minutes played on TalkSport 2, and it's 0-0 in the Steel City derby.
Yeah, we're just looking at the formations. Yeah, they're going to play. It looks like Sheffield Wednesday are going to play three centre backs with Thornley, Hector, and Lees. Baker on this right hand side as a wing back with Morgan Fox. Looks like Pellier-Pessi is going to be the holding one, who's going to be around Duffy all the time, with Barry Bannon and Penny as the other two midfield players on Norwood and Fleck, with Reach playing slightly more advanced alongside Stephen Fletcher. So a little bit of a tweak in the formation from Sheffield Wednesday, trying to get that deep line one in around Mark Duffy, who's quite influential. But you've seen already Sheffield United on the front foot, people joining in, wing backs, both wing backs high up the pitch, and have been dominant so far.
5 minutes played, and it's a real cacophony inside Bramall Lane at the start of this game. It was goalless here last season, and Josh Luhukai's first game in charge as Wednesday manager was a throw-in down the line, looks for Fletcher over his head, and it's behind for a goal kick. Of course, United won 4-2 at Hillsborough in the early weeks of the season, which really ignited a terrific start to the campaign for them, back in the Championship after 6 years away, and it was the first time ever they'd scored 4 goals at Hillsborough. And Sheffield United, it has to be said, never really recovered. Now it's slid forward towards Sharp from O'Connell, who was in behind the run of Hector, but Cameron Dawson anticipated well.
Yeah, good movement again from Sheffield United. Good ball by O'Connell, looking for Billy Sharp just to run off the back of Tom Lees, but good decision making from Dawson there. Came out of his 18-yard box quickly and gathered it comfortably.
6 minutes played, 0-0. Dawson's long goal kick downfield is eventually cut out by John Egan, the former Brentford man. And here is McGoldrick, who turns and hooks it forward, looking for Sharp again. Dawson somewhere outside his penalty area. He knew that Sharp was in the vicinity, but was confident enough to allow the ball to drift behind for another goal kick. And it's been little and large for much of the season for Sheffield United up top with Sharp and Clark, but it's little and slightly larger tonight.
Well, you mentioned earlier Liam Clark has only scored one goal so far this season, so Chris looking to mix it around. David McGoldrick, wealth of experience, still got that physical ability to bring people into play. Obviously got Connor Washington on the bench as well, so nice permutations for Sheffield United.
And Wednesday have been on the back foot so far. Hector has to pick up another long ball and then sweep it forward up towards the halfway line. It's headed in field by Norwood and now clipped over the top though for Wednesday. Reach was chasing and in the end it's gathered by Dean Henderson on the edge of his penalty area. Reach is operating on the right hand side of midfield at the start of this game. Another long ball clattered forward for United and it's one bounce into the arms of Dawson at the other end. So Reach will have to always come infield onto the narrow side, but if he gets space on that left foot he could do some real damage.
Yeah, he's playing up a little bit more further up forward alongside Fletcher, but when they're out of possession he's dealing with one of the centre halves to deal with him if he's going to step in. So it's a position Adams played a couple of times in the past, but it's going to be important when Sheffield Wednesday get the ball. Can they drop it into Stephen Fletcher with a little bit of quality, and then it allows the midfield players to go up and support Adam Reach to be in around him. Free kick on this wide left hand situation now. Leeds coming up, the other two centre backs, Hector alongside him, and Fletcher. Will be interested how Sheffield United deal with this.
Fletcher was caught by Freeman. Bannon with the free kick, flicked on by Fletcher, headed clear by McGoldrick, wide towards Reach, who plays a low ball into the penalty area, right-footed, and it was an excellent ball into that corridor of uncertainty on the edge of the 6-yard area. Fletcher was lurking and it's hacked behind by Basham for a Wednesday corner.
Yeah, great ball in there from Adam Reach on his right foot. I think sometimes you've got to do that early in a game, especially in the conditions like tonight. It's wet and greasy. Ask questions in around the 18-yard box, 6-yard box.
Pelly Pessi with the corner, long way into the penalty area, and sliding in at the far post was Fox. He was challenged as he came in and eventually the ball squirts high off his body and over the top from only about 3 yards out.
Wow, that's two real good opportunities there. Sheffield United have defended them well. The first one got away with a corner and he just did enough to put Morgan Fox under a little bit of pressure, but I think he'll be disappointed that he's not at least hit the target, but he was sliding in, and as I mentioned earlier, on the greasy surface sometimes it's not that easy to be able to control a fast ball across the 6-yard box.
The rain remains torrential here, but the pitch is in excellent condition. They have had problems here over the past few years. I remember coming here for an FA Cup tie against Fulham when it was basically a swamp, but things have changed as Basham heads it wide to this near side. It's gathered by Stevens, and now O'Connell wide towards the Irishman. Stevens again long over the top left hand side looking for Sharp, and Sheffield United have been very direct at the start of this game. Nearly 10 minutes played, it's 0-0, but they're at their best when they pop it around the midfield and create those angles.
Yeah, when they get it into Fleck and Norwood, they're the two that can really dictate things. But it's, as we mentioned before the game, that area is going to be a key area, and you look at Sheffield Wednesday, they've matched them up with the three in there to really stop them from getting on that ball and making things happen.
Now Fletcher is penalised, of course a veteran of a number of Tyne Weir derbies during his time at Sunderland. Freeman's ball down the line is blocked by Fox, and it will be a throw-in to Sheffield United. Of course, you are excused an early start tomorrow. The first test in Gaul was completed a day early, England winning by 211 runs, so there'll be no 4 a.m. alarm calls tomorrow, as Sharp controls with his back to goal on the edge of the penalty area. Now wide towards Fleck, needs support and finds it quickly on the edge of the penalty area. It was Basham again, and then it's cleared away as it was O'Connell looking to charge forward, and the challenge was made, a late challenge as well on Baker on the edge of the penalty area, and the referee played a good advantage, and it's a free kick to Sheffield Wednesday.
Yeah, right decision there. Interesting there, you just see out of possession Adam Reach is just trying to get into little pockets and little areas where if it breaks down they can try and get it into his feet, where he can potentially then try and run at the Sheffield United back three, but also he's in an area where he can potentially stop the switch of play where the opposite centre-back can then step in like Sheffield United do with O'Connell and Basham to make many of the attacks go their way.
And the second test, live and exclusive from Candy on TalkSport 2 from Wednesday tomorrow. Matchday Live 2 with Russ Williams has 3 commentaries, including the FA Cup tie at 12:30, Maidenhead Portsmouth, Newcastle Bournemouth from the Premier League at 3, and West Brom Leeds from the Championship at 5:30. All here on TalkSport 2. McGoldrick lays it wide towards the right-hand side, and Freeman, who comes in field, has support from Duffy on the outside. He was taken down heavily. The referee allows play to continue. Basham with a high cross into the penalty area, and I think the referee has given the goal kick, but he will go across and speak to the Wednesday man on the far side.
Difficult one there for the referee because it is a free kick. He's tried to allow it.
If you're United, you want the free kick.
Yeah, well, he's still in a good position to put a good ball in. Just put a horrendous ball in behind the goal. Yes, of course, you've got a better opportunity for with Norwood on the ball for a free kick. So I think he'll be gutted that he got that decision wrong.
And there's an FA Cup tie underway tonight. Haringey Borough against AFC Wimbledon. That will be just getting underway. We'll bring you goals as they go in from that game. And in addition to Maidenhead against Portsmouth tomorrow, we also have Hampton and Richmond against Oldham. Full commentary on that game with Dance and the team on Monday night. And on TalkSport tomorrow, Matchday Live has the goals as they go in from the Premier League, the Championship and the FA Cup. Palace against Spurs is our exclusive Premier League commentary from 5:30. Here in the rain at Bramall Lane, we played 12 minutes in the Steel City derby. It is United 0, Wednesday 0 on TalkSport 2 with Screwfix. For the latest offers, visit your local store or screwfix.com. Here when you need us. O'Connell brings it forward now for Sheffield Wednesday, down the left-hand side, into the path of Sharp on the edge of the penalty area. Now Duffy with the ginger hair, comes in field again. He's keeping Paul Coots on the sidelines at the moment. Duffy was unavailable for the defeat at Forest, but he's back into the side today at Coots' expense. Now Duffy has the option wide of him on the far side, and it's Basham coming forward. We have both central defenders, O'Connell and Basham, inside the Wednesday half at the moment, with Egan staying back to look after Reach. McGoldrick on the edge of the penalty area, finding Duffy, who goes down into the challenge. Penalty! Fox with the challenge. Duffy was tumbled, and Sheffield United have a penalty.
Yeah, good play from Sheffield United, very patient. Played a 1-2, Duffy got the other side of it. Since this game has started, there's always tried to be somebody around Duffy, whether it's Pelupesi or a centre back looking to step in, because they'd look to him as a key threat against them. Played a 1-2, he got the other side and clipped him. The referee took his time to decide on it, but from where we are, looked a blatant clip of his ankles, and we're going to get David McGoldrick to step up and try and put Sheffield United in front.
Billy Sharp had a word, but it's David McGoldrick who will take the penalty in his first Steel City derby. An opportunity to put United ahead. All the Wednesday fans waiting behind that goal. It's McGoldrick against Dawson. McGoldrick right-footed. Oh, what a save! Dawson plunges away to his left and turns the ball aside.
Well, what a save that is. Slow down. Looked like from here it's going to creep in that far post, but it's a fantastic save. Real strong hand. It's obviously celebrated with the rest of his teammates there. Great save.
And a real let-off, but Cameron Dawson deserved it. The corner, driven deep into the penalty area. Sharp with a volley at the far post, blocked by Baker. It's now regathered by Fleck, and here's an opportunity for United to bring it forward again with Stevens, finding McGoldrick, who tosses back his head in frustration as he thinks about that penalty miss. Nodded down by Sharp inside the penalty area. It was brought down initially by Lees and then cleared by Hector into the path of reach. Bannon looks to release Fletcher on halfway, but United have it back. That roar you could hear to our right-hand side is John Pearson, the former Sheffield Wednesday striker, who is clearly rather partisan this evening.
Yeah, you can hear him. I used to be at Leeds with John in the 90s, and a big passionate Sheffield Wednesday supporter. But it'd be interesting to know, was David McGoldrick the designated penalty taker before the game, or was Billy Sharp the one? Because, as you said, Sharp had a word with him, didn't he, before, and was he looking to take it off him? McGoldrick,
Sharp's had problems with penalties recently, though.
So maybe McGoldrick was the designated penalty taker, experienced player who scored many penalties, but I think it's a good save.
That's a brilliant save, isn't it? It's not a poor penalty.
He's put it right in the bottom corner with some good pace on it, and he's dived full stretch and tipped it round, so got to give the keeper a lot of credit.
16 minutes played, 0-0 on TalkSport 2. The Sheffield Wednesday fans still celebrating that penalty save from Cameron Dawson, and the side yet to keep a clean sheet this season have already saved a penalty in this game, and they will look for turning point Sheffield Wednesday, and that could possibly be one as Baker charges down across from Stevens on this near side. Now Fleck finding Stevens again, a high hanging cross into the penalty area. Freeman looks to knock it back in field, and McGoldrick was poised to pull the trigger, but Hector got there just in time for Wednesday. Fletcher with a backheader away, but it's regathered by Fleck. Fleck plays it infield to find Norwood, who was just anchoring that midfield at the moment in front of Egan. Although Fletcher, in fairness, has been coming fairly deep to try and help out his defenders. Egan now is forced wide to the far side, and he's got support from Norwood. And here is O'Connell finding Fleck again. There were a number of contenders to take the penalty for Sheffield United, and McGoldrick, of course, is a very experienced player. He's been around, and he's been in decent form, better form than Liam Clark, which is why he is starting here tonight.
Yeah, you're just looking the tactics again from Sheffield Wednesday. They're looking to let him have it at the back, making sure that there's no spaces and no gaps for the likes of Duffy get on the ball or into McGoldrick's feet. Sharp looking to run over the top. So far Sheffield Wednesday are getting plenty of bodies back, but it's obviously leaving Fletcher a little bit isolated when the turnover of possession.
17 minutes played on the south side of Sheffield, 0-0 in the Steel City derby as the rain really becomes a squall in the strong winds on the far side. We can see it picked out in the lights of the John Street stand with the high rises and buildings from the Sheffield city centre beyond that, as Sharp looks to come forward on the far side, and he believes he was brought down by Thornley, but nothing was given. Now Fleck will try and bring it forward, rides a challenge, drives it low, left-footed across the penalty area and some way wide.
Well, Sheffield Wednesday showing a lot of spirit when they're needing to make blocks in around the 18-yard box. They are doing so. What they've got to do, they've got to play with a little bit more quality when the overturn of the possession, whether they play short into Bannon, into the full-backs, the wing-backs, or dropping into Stephen Fletcher. They just seem to be giving away a little bit too easily the possession back into Sheffield United's hands, where they can then go and attack. If they continue to do that, they can defend as much as they want and put bodies on the line. Somewhere down the line, they're going to be asked a lot more questions.
Nearly 19 minutes played, 0-0. But Cameron Dawson has already saved a penalty. Here is McGoldrick, the man who missed it for Sheffield United, and it's an excellent ball wide towards the left hand side, and Stevens early cross back into the penalty area. McGoldrick was waiting, cleared by Hector, and then Hector does really well to volley the second ball away down this near side for a throw-in.
When you see Sheffield United play, they get the wing backs really high and wide and put plenty of balls in the box. Good defending there from Michael Hector. He knew that Michael McGoldrick was coming across him, use them long rangy legs that he's got to make the clearance.
Ender Stevens will take the throw-in on this near side. The entire Sheffield United squad is drawn from players in the United Kingdom and the Republic of Ireland, and now Duffy inside the penalty area, left hand side, plays it back towards Sharp, who was so strong with his back to goal, finds Fleck down the left. Stevens continues his run into the penalty area. Fleck's cross is cleared away only as far as O'Connell, and it's been all Sheffield United for virtually all of the game so far. Duffy down the left hand side, drifts towards the byline, drives it low across, cleared away as far as Stevens, whose shot with the outside of the left foot is blocked by Lees, and now now there is a potential breakaway for Wednesday. It's Fletcher all on his own down this near side, but Basham has slipped and Fletcher breaks into the penalty area, has support from Reach. Fletcher continues on his own, now clips it high across the penalty area, and a man goes down in the box, and Wednesday appealed for a penalty. It was Penny who crumpled to the turf, and Andy Madley had a look and said no.
Well, great, Brett, that's what we're talking about. The ball into Stephen Fletcher, who dummies Chris Basham, takes it into the corner. He just couldn't quite get his head up because Sheffield Wednesday had the overload on the far post. But that's what they need to do, get it into him and ultimately then get runners up from the midfield areas to support. But good play from Sheffield Wednesday there.
And Guy Clark, our producer, reminds me that Cameron Dawson saved a penalty last week as well, but it was a trundler from Vrancic, wasn't it? Yeah.
He don't want it to end up the same result, does he?
Absolutely not, but McGoldrick had scored his 3 previous penalties. Sharp took one against Millwall and missed it, which is why he stood aside. But United are unbeaten in the last 39 games in which Billy Sharp has scored.
Some record that,
they've won the last 20.
That's unbelievable, that, isn't it?
It really is. He got a hat-trick here in his last home game against Wigan Athletic. Guy, you were here for that one, I would imagine, yeah? Rueful shake of the head for the Wigan Athletic man. Here is Fletcher, who tries a volley, left-footed on the edge of the penalty area. It was almost Adam Reach-esque, but it was some way over the top.
Yeah, he's been renowned in his Premier League days to stick the odd one in the top corner, but this one didn't threaten Dean Henderson's goal. Been a good response from Sheffield Wednesday since the penalty miss. They've made a few decent blocks, but they've looked quite dangerous on the counter-attack as well. I think Sheffield United were looking to get possession of that ball more, get the centre-back stepping in and out to the wing-backs and get a few more crosses into the box and keep asking questions of a Sheffield Wednesday team that have not kept a clean sheet all season.
And they've conceded 12 goals in those 4 successive defeats. And it's become a real issue for them after only 1 defeat in 9. They were up in the top 6 when we saw them play against Middlesbrough only a few weeks ago on TalkSport 2, but they lost that game 2-1 at home, deservedly so, and it's been downhill ever since. Fleck coming forward now for United, scoops it into the area looking for McGoldrick, who is strongly challenged by Lees, and fairly so according to the referee. Now Sharp back towards Norwood on the edge of the penalty area, flicked on by Fleck, and now McGoldrick will play it back towards Fleck again. Stevens on the edge of the penalty area, and it's O'Connell on the overlap, a low ball in, and it ricochets off 2 Wednesday players. Hector onto Thornley over the top for a corner.
It just shows you how Sheffield United played. They've got Kieran Freeman in around the 6-yard box trying to get on the end of a cross, and he's the right wing back. They're putting loads of balls in the box. Sheffield Wednesday defended them well. Fortunately, from their perspective there, it hits their own man and goes behind for a corner, so to make sure that they pick up tightly and defend this Oliver Norwood corner.
Norwood's in swinger, high to the far post. Dawson leaves it, and in the end it was Lees coming around the back to head the ball behind under pressure from Basham for another corner, which Fleck will go across to take on the far side, the right. And defending has been a real issue for Sheffield Wednesday, and defending set pieces throughout the season as Fleck plays it short towards Duffy, back towards Fleck again on the right corner of the penalty area, square to Norwood onto his right foot, and the ball strikes the stanchion and goes behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, short corner there, worked it well, ended up Oliver Norwood's feet. Really got to show him onto his left foot. If anybody knows Norwood, they'll know he's a great striker of the ball with his right foot, and disappointed from Sheffield Wednesday's perspective that they showed him inside, opened the goal up a little bit, and Oliver Norwood would have been a little bit disappointed he's not at least worked Cameron Dawson in the Sheffield Wednesday goal. So another opportunity gone to miss from Sheffield United's perspective. But it's everything that we spoke about before the game. There's been energy, there's been commitment, there's been some good play, there's been incidents at both ends of the pitch, and quite surprised that it's still 0-0, are you?
I am, particularly the way that Sheffield United have started, but had Fletcher just played him Reach inside the area, Wednesday could very easily be ahead.
That's what they've got to be careful of. They don't throw bodies too forward too often and too frequently, but that's how Sheffield United have played, so they're trying to get the balance right, getting people forward, but you've got Fletcher and Reach, they've got to be careful of them.
25 minutes played on TalkSport 2, the home of the EFL. And this a big one in the Championship. Sheffield United looking to return to the summit of the table, currently a point behind Leeds and Norwich. And they've got 2 away games coming up following this one. Another South Yorkshire derby at Rotherham. They also go to Brentford before a big game on the 1st of December here. A lunchtime kick-off on the Saturday against Leeds. Norwood drives an excellent ball from right to left, all the way through to the far side, and Basham, who comes forward, clips it in sharp with a very sharp header at the near post, stooping to try and divert it towards goal, and it just drifts over the top.
What a ball from Norwood there. He's hit it from this left-hand channel over to the right wing back, probably 50-60 yards, about 10 yards high, right into the Kieran Freeman's feet. First touch is good, whips it into an area where Billy Sharp was a little bit unopposed, just didn't quite get his header in the right direction, probably came more off his shoulder than his head, but great ball for Norwood.
The rain continues to swirl around this stadium. 1 or 2 latecomers have eventually come in. The Kop is absolutely packed away to our left-hand side. A few empty seats in the family enclosure up on the far side, and the no man's land areas either side of the Sheffield Wednesday supporters in the second tier away to our left, as it's thrown down the line for Duffy, and Hector tries a Cruyff turn on the edge of his own penalty area, gives it straight to Sharp. Here is Duffy again. Hector loses out a second time. Sharp plays it wide to the far side, and Basham, and Duffy will look to wriggle his way through beyond Hector and Fox, and Hector makes the challenge, and this time comes away with the ball. And what possesses somebody to try a Cruyff turn in that area of the field?
Look, he started the game really well, and he's facing Cameron Dawson. The easiest thing to do under no pressure is give it back to him. So why he decides to do a Cruyff turn and gets caught in possession, that's why managers get sacked.
Well, he did something similar in a game we did last season when he was playing for Hull. They were 4 down at Derby, and he juggled the ball by the corner flag, his own corner flag, gave the ball away, and Derby made it 5. And he's clearly got something about him, but also he's got something else about him that maybe managers don't like.
You've just got to make sure that if you've started the game well with confidence, you don't go overstep the mark and go beyond what your capabilities are. So he's got trusted his ability, but you're there to defend, put it into Rowe's head at the very least. In that instance, could he give it back to his goalkeeper because he was under no pressure whatsoever.
27 minutes played, 0-0. Bannon slides it through towards Penny on the edge of the penalty area. He goes down again looking for the free kick, but nothing was given. Peliapesi looked to keep the move going, but it was eventually snuffed out. And here is McGoldrick on the far side. If you've just joined us on TalkSport 2, David McGoldrick seeing a penalty brilliantly kept out by Cameron Dawson in the early moments of this game. Now Fleck plays it back towards Norwood, looking to extend his passing range once again with a lofted ball wide to this near side, the left, but over the head of Stevens, and it will be a throw-in to Sheffield Wednesday, whose record against teams in the top half of the table is very poor to say the least. Only 2 draws and 7 defeats so far this season. All 7 of their defeats have come against sides currently in the top half of the table. And they had a flurry of wins in the autumn, including away successes at the likes of Aston Villa and Bristol City, which hinted at a potential playoff challenge if nothing else, but since then it's all been very different. Here is Fleck coming forward now for United, beyond Bannon. Square towards Norwood again, who was really directing the traffic for Sheffield United in the first half. Into the path of Freeman, back towards Norwood again, and now Egan. And Chris Wilder's team just having to be patient at the moment. Both managers stood, arms thrust deep into pockets on the edge of their technical areas beneath us. Alan Nill, the assistant manager for Sheffield United, also joins Wilder there as well, as their team come forward now. Duffy down the left-hand side, looking to take on the youngster Baker. Duffy comes infield, curling shot right-footed, and it was a good block by Hector with his head just to divert the ball away from the far corner, behind for a corner.
Well, again, you see Stevens have the ball, and you've got Jack O'Connell overlapping, who's the centre-back, and that just shows you how Sheffield United play. Good, it looks like it's going to go in the top corner, but Michael Hector did what he's been doing so far in this game very well by making a block in it, got out for a corner, and Norwood with his delivery will be looking to hit the big 3 centre-backs.
Half an hour played, Norwood's corner, high into the penalty area. McGoldrick was having his shirt pulled there by Lees, but the referee didn't see it, and it's a throw-in to Sheffield United as the ball went right through the 6-yard area. Stevens will take it into the feet of Fleck, and now Stevens again down the Sheffield United left, almost level with the edge of the Wednesday penalty area, back towards O'Connell, and Egan basically stands back as the defensive pivot, and Norwood will also drop in ahead of him when either O'Connell and Basham, and usually both, go forward, as Basham looks to do that now, charging forward, wide ball to this left hand side, and Stevens, who is flagged offside.
Yeah, I think when you look at Sheffield United, they're very composed with it when they've got possession of the ball, and teams can keep it in certain areas. But what Sheffield United do, and very impressively how they do it, is they move it quickly. They play two-touch, they look to play forward, try and get it into Norwood, who'll then move the ball quickly into the two wing-backs of Freeman and Stevens, or into Duffy, who's got the space. But they don't over-elaborate, they move the ball quick or actually run the ball into the middle areas and try and drag a Sheffield Wednesday player out of position to then find Duffy or the wing-backs.
31 minutes played. United 0, Wednesday 0 in the Sheffield derby, live on TalkSport 2, the home of the EFL. West Brom against Leeds coming up at 5:30 tomorrow, the last of our three commentaries on Matchday Live 2. We start with Maidenhead against Portsmouth in the FA Cup at 12:30, and our exclusive Premier League commentary at 3 is Newcastle against Bournemouth, with Palace against Spurs over on TalkSport with Laura Woods and the team at 5:30. Before that, Adrian Durham with Matchday Live will bring you all the goals as they go in up and down the country. Penny down the left hand side for Sheffield Wednesday, forced back towards another youngster, Thornley, who was an unused sub during Josh Lukai's first game in charge here in January, and at that stage he was yet to make his debut for Sheffield Wednesday, but 6 members of their academy have been blooded since, as McGoldrick comes forward now. He's won the ball and is clearly keen to make amends for the penalty miss. Norwood slides it wide to the left hand side, and Fleck further wide now towards Duffy on the corner of the penalty area, infield towards Fleck again. It's O'Connell, the central defender, providing the width, and an excellent cross into the area, and a lunging Thornley booms it away down this near side for a throw into United.
If Jack O'Connell keeps overlapping like he is, and he's not a small centre half, he's well framed, isn't he? He could be shouted after 65 minutes. He's overlapping the wing backs and having to get back to defend, but that's just how they're playing, and full credit to him. Let's just hope he can keep maintaining that.
Bannon and Baker find themselves in a rather tricky situation on this near side, and Baker just has to lump it out of play for a throw-in to United, which Stevens will take. O'Connell is still forward. Basham has now retreated towards the halfway line. Here is Duffy, finding Stevens again, twisting and turning on the outside beyond Baker, and then back in field to find Duffy, but Baker just nips in with a toe to try and win it back, and then as he's challenged by O'Connell, will just hoof it forward towards the halfway line again. Fletcher with his back to goal, loses out in the air to Egan, and here is Stevens again down the left for United, and the flag's up for offside as Billy Sharp comes back from an offside position.
I think the impressive thing from Sheffield United as well is that to try and get everybody on the high press up there. There were plenty of bodies going forward, but when it breaks down, to try and get as many bodies in around the ball to stop the opposition from playing out and through them. So it's up to Sheffield Wednesday to have the composure to try and get a few passes into play through the press, and they might hit them on the counter attack, but they do like to try and keep sustained pressure on you, which results in free kicks and ultimately crosses into the box.
Dawson with the free kick following the offside flag. He was looking for Fletcher, who complains to the referee that he was being pushed by Bannon, but Andy Madley's not interested, and it's a throw into Sheffield United on the far side. 34 minutes played. It is 0-0 in the Steel City derby on TalkSport 2 with Screwfix, proud partners of the EFL, here when you need us. O'Connell strikes a long ball forward onto the head of Hector, who heads it down and finds Bannon, and that's a turn and an excellent ball forward, looking for Fletcher, and Egan was looking for his goalkeeper Henderson to come and grab the ball, which he eventually did, as McGoldrick flicks it wide to this near side for Duffy. United quickly turn defence into attack. Duffy tries to thread it through towards Stevens, but it breaks back towards Duffy again, and in the end it's cleared as far as Fleck. A long swirling cross into the penalty area, which is gathered on his haunches by Cameron Dawson, and Dawson has been the man of the first half so far without any question.
Yes, but I'm not sure Tom Lees would appreciate that throw, that throw out to him there, where he's under a little bit of pressure from Fleck. But they've defended well so far, Sheffield Wednesday. Got to give them credit. Just got to make sure that when they get possession back, they don't give it away too cheaply. Up to Fletcher, he tries to lead the line and get people in support of him. But because he's not going to go and run them over the top. We've seen a couple of occasions they've played it over the top, and both Basham, Egan and O'Connell have dealt with him quite comfortably. But they've got to get into his feet, into his chest, and get the support up towards him.
Fleck down the left-hand side, infield towards McGoldrick, who just slipped at the vital moment. Hector comes in with a rather rash challenge on the edge of his own penalty area, but he got the ball, and Penny can bring it clear now for Wednesday. Wide on the left-hand side, an early ball struck towards the edge of the penalty area, and Reach, who brings it down superbly in those bright green boots. He's got support from Baker on his outside, but instead comes in field to find Paliapesi. This is rare. Controlled possession for Sheffield Wednesday inside the United half, as Leeds, though, goes back towards Hector again. You're never quite sure what you'll get with Michael Hector. On this occasion, it was a good ball into the feet of Penny, who was then clipped by Norwood, and it's a free kick to Wednesday, taken quickly by Paliapesi. Here is Bannon. And Wednesday really need Bannon to get on the ball more and try and influence the game. Hector with a long ball over the top down the right, looking for the run of Baker, and it's nodded away down this near side by Stevens.
Well, his first little spell of possession that Sheffield Wednesday have had probably throughout the course of the game. They've had a couple of balls that have got in the box and caused a few problems for Sheffield United, but to have some controlled possession like they have done so this morning time has been a bit of a rarity. That's what they need to do to try and take the sting out of the game and stop the wave after wave of attacks of the home team.
Penny went down on the right-hand side looking for a free kick. Nothing was given, but here is Bannon. His cross was over the head of Reach, and United eventually deal with it. Poke wide to this near side by Fleck, and now McGoldrick with his shaven head gleaming under the lights here. Finds Sharp, infield towards Fleck again. Fleck rather slid in on Paliapesi. It turned out to be a loose ball in the midfield following a rather heavy first touch from Fleck, but the referee is happy for play to continue. There's an excellent leap by Fletcher to cushion a header wide towards the Wednesday left-hand side, but there was nobody there in a blue shirt.
No, that's where we're talking. The ball needs to go into his chest, and hopefully he can then get hold of it and bring the midfield players and Adam Reach into play. Look, so far this game has been a competitive game, not overstepped the mark any players with any bad challenges or anything like that. If there's a ball to be won, they've all gone in there competitive and doing what we asked them to do before the game when we were asked what would the last few words be when they go out onto that pitch, and that would be play with your head as well as your heart, and I think both sets of players are doing that this morning time. But that can change very quickly in a game like this. It only needs something to lit the torch paper, doesn't it?
Wide to this near side for United with Stevens. McGoldrick finding O'Connell. Duffy makes the run to add reinforcements as McGoldrick plays it in towards Duffy on the edge of the penalty area. Stevens strays offside, so O'Connell plays a deeper cross into the penalty area, some way beyond Billy Sharp, who has not really had a clear-cut chance so far, and the ball drifts out on the far side for a throw into Sheffield Wednesday. Yep. They will believe that they've maybe drawn the sting here. Yeah,
good defending when they've needed to defend, had a bit of possession. Sheffield United, when they're putting the balls in the box, they're trying to fizz it across that 6-yard box where they can hopeful that a striker might get across a defender, or even a defender get a touch to make it an own goal. But Sheffield Wednesday so far are getting back into this game.
Baker with a good ball wide down the right-hand side, and there is space and time for Reach to come forward now and cut in field onto his left foot. Baker on his outside, squared towards Penny, who was quickly closed down by the challenge right on the edge of the penalty area by Norwood, and the final touch was off Penny as it spun wide on the far side, and it will be a throw into United.
I think I mentioned it earlier, Adam Reach has been quite clever. He's trying to get into little areas and pockets. He's not playing up as an out-and-out striker with Fletcher. He's dropping in around people, and then they overturn the possession. Can they get him into his feet so he can get on the half turn and run at the Sheffield United back three? And that's what he's done in the last couple of minutes, been able to do that. Went into the lad Penny, who couldn't quite sort his feet out quick enough, which allowed Norwood to get a block on him.
And now Fletcher has been caught just inside the United half, and it will be a Wednesday free kick. And I think Fletcher says something Similar to about time 2 in the direction of the referee, and we have 5 minutes to play in the first half on TalkSport 2, and it remains 0-0. And Sheffield Wednesday just look like a team at the moment who maybe just need half-time and a second win. It's a free kick which Penny and Bannon are over. Bannon curls it in, left-footed, high to the far post. Fox will rise. It's cleared away as far as Lees. Now Reach looked to strike it left-footed, but Norwood got to him just in time for United, and his block sends the ball looping high into the Wednesday half.
But be careful, Sheffield United. Don't give too many needless free kicks away, because you've got the 3 big centre halves go up there with Fletcher and Reach as well, and so far every time they've had a free kick, they've got the first phase and the first knockdown, and if they carry on doing that, something might just drop to somebody in around that 18-yard box or on the edge and try and get a strike off on target.
Penny, who has done really well since making his debut at the start of the season, and that was an enterprising run down the left-hand side, took out 2 players before losing out to the third, but Wednesday are picking up the pieces now in the midfield, and it's Bannon who is exerting more influence on the game as Baker goes back towards Lees. He knew that Billy Sharp was looking to pressurise him, so here is Cameron Dawson, wearing pale blue, defending the Wednesday goal away to our left-hand side. Reach, unable to judge the bounce of the ball inside the centre circle, but he's chased, and then there's a strong challenge on O'Connell, and the referee, I don't think, has given the free kick. There's a handshake between Reach and O'Connell, and it's a throw into United.
Yeah, nothing in that. Good challenge. Both went for the ball, didn't catch him or anything like that. More the supporters looking for a free kick for the home team, but both players 50-50 went out for a Sheffield United throw in. Both players shook hands, which I'm sure 15, 20, 30 years ago they wouldn't have done that. I think they'd have picked each other up by each other's ears or other parts of the body and said next one's going to be a little bit higher.
Yes. Yeah, you're in my little black book, son.
Yeah.
42 minutes played. 0-0 at Bramall Lane. And the rain remains very heavy. Here is Stevens coming forward down the left-hand side. Cuts it back towards Freeman, who had peeled away. Now wide from Norwood towards McGoldrick. Flick further wide towards Stevens. A low ball into the penalty area. Looks for the runner, Freeman at the near post. And a combination of Hector and Lees get the ball away and behind for a corner.
Again, plenty of bodies in there for Sheffield United. Freeman in there getting on the end of a cross from this left-hand side from the right wing-back roll. Good defending though from Sheffield Wednesday. They've defended well so far.
Norwood will take the corner down this near side. Another in-swinger deep into the penalty area, and Dawson came to punch the ball clear, but Fletcher got there first and looped a header over his own crossbar for another corner.
Yeah.
One thing we have seen with Dawson, under a high ball he can be suspect.
Well, I was going to ask you that. He was in goal, wasn't he, when they played Leeds, and they seemed to whip things in, and he flapped at a few things.
And he did against Middlesbrough as well.
So, mate, it's interesting why they're going to go. Norwood's going to do an outswinger rather than a left-footed fleck of in-swinger.
Norwood's outswinger high into the penalty area, and there's another header over the top, and this time, well, Sheffield United are convinced it was a Wednesday head, but a goal kick's been given. John Egan was the player closest to it for Sheffield United, and Sheffield Wednesday just need to negotiate 90 seconds or so to get towards half-time, and I think Josh Lukai will be satisfied that after such a difficult start to the game they've maybe come through it.
Yeah, I think they've grown from the penalty save from Cameron Dawson and withstood quite a lot of pressure, had a couple of half chances that nearly went their way. They've defended when they've needed to defend, and ultimately they're going to try and keep a clean sheet and be hard to beat and maybe try and get one on the counter-attack.
Now McGoldrick coming forward, but Lees gets there first with a solid challenge. Reach on the halfway line for Wednesday, finds Bannon, a very deliberate ball wide to the left, and Penny back to Bannon again, and Wednesday here have 4 or 5 blue and white striped shirts forward in this attack. Here is Lees, a long diagonal from him, looking for Fletcher, nodded clear though by Basham, only as far as Penny, who tries to pick out Reach on the edge of the penalty area, but his ball only finds O'Connell, a high bouncing ball forward from him. Sharp though unable to find himself underneath it, and Duffy is felled by Pellier-Pessi, and the free kick is given. Fleck tries to take it quickly, but some way from where the foul was committed.
Yeah, just quite noticeable. Every time the ball tries to go into Duffy, there's always somebody around him. I think they've looked at him as a threat, that Pellier-Pessi is around him, or Bannon, or Thornley in the middle of the pitch, that they try and get that energy that they've got in there to stop him from playing, because he's been very productive for Sheffield United over a number of years now.
Norwood is over the free kick. We'll have a single minute of added time at the end of the first half. Wide to this left-hand side, and Stevens. O'Connell will try and move forward on the overlap, but Ashbaker got there first, and he's conceded the throw-in. And Sheffield United will finish the first half on the attack. And they have been the dominant team in terms of possession, and they've had a couple of really good chances, but Wednesday have stood firm. Stevens with a cross in, which is headed clear by Bannon, and now launched forward by Reach up to the halfway line. Penny will chase, and Basham just allows the ball to bounce, and as Penny challenged him, he got the ball away, but the referee didn't like the follow-through from Penny on Basham, and it's a free kick to Sheffield United.
Yeah, good energy from Penny, trying to close Basham down. Bouncing ball, probably shouldn't have allowed it to bounce like it did, allowed him to get a challenge in. I think in it, free kick, play on.
Here is Duffy down the left-hand side, and Tom Lees using the conditions to slide in and make that challenge, and that's half-time. And there is applause on all sides at Bramall Lane, but the Sheffield Wednesday supporters have more reason to celebrate so far. Cameron Dawson with a brilliant penalty save to deny David McGoldrick the key moment of the first half. Dawson also with an excellent stop to keep out a long-range drive from John Fleck in the early stages. And at half-time in the Steel City derby, it is United 0, Wednesday 0. Thank you, Dan. There don't look to be changes to either side at the start of the second half, so the United team will be Henderson in goal, Basham, Egan and O'Connell, Freeman, Norwood, Fleck and Stevens, Duffy, Sharp and McGoldrick, who saw his penalty saved by Cameron Dawson in the first half. He's behind Lees, Hector and Fox. Then it's Baker, Pelupeti, Bannon and Thornley, with Penny, Reach and Fletcher. And the rain continues to come down in torrents here, but it's not really had too much of an impact on the playing surface so far, Simon.
No, it's been good. I think it's allowed the ball to be zipped around. Both teams, more so Sheffield United, I suppose, are looking to fizz things across that 6-yard box. It probably went against Sheffield Wednesday when that ball got zipped across the 6-yard box from a corner that Morgan Fox got on the end of. On another day, it might have just benefited by not having that dampness on the surface. But Sheffield United look to get on the front foot and ask questions of what has been a fragile back five at this so far the last few games. But the first 45 minutes, I think they've showed a lot of resilience and a lot of character.
Sheffield United get the second half underway in their red and white stripes with white backs on the shirt, which is good news for the commentators this season. Sheffield Wednesday in the blue and white stripes with blue backs. And United had 65% possession during the first half, but Wednesday managed to cling on thanks to their goalkeeper, and it's still 0-0 at the start of the second half as United come forward, attacking the Cop end away to our right. Basham is hauled to the ground by Penny, and it's a free kick in midfield, taken quickly by Freeman. Here is Duffy down the right hand side, further wide towards Basham. A low cross is blocked by Fox, headed away by Penny towards this near side, and Fox does well to recover and hook the ball down the line, and the final touch was off Norwood, and it will be a throw-in to Sheffield Wednesday, midway inside their own half on this near side there left. Wednesday have only won once in their last 15 visits here back in February 2009, and they've won none of the last 6 in the Steel City derby since a 1-0 win down in League One in February 2012, one of only 2 seasons these two sides have met outside the top 2 tiers. The other one was back in 1979-80, and there's what they call the Boxing Day Massacre in Sheffield, when Wednesday beat United 4-0 on Boxing Day in front of 49,000 at Hillsborough.
Were you commentating back then, Nigel, in the dark days?
I think I was 7.
Huge inquiry there, eh, guy?
Here's Penny coming forward on this near side. But it's an interesting game in terms of the history, because Wednesday went on to get promotion that season. United were top of the table. They eventually faded away and were relegated down to Division 4 the following year. So People have always talked about that game as a key turning point in the history of the two clubs. Of course, we don't know what's going to happen here tonight, but if Wednesday can get something, you would imagine Josh Lukai would get some breathing space in what's been a very difficult time for him. Here is Fletcher on the edge of the penalty area, looked to bring the ball in field from the left-hand side, and Norwood, who brings such quality to the United midfield, just guides it back towards his goalkeeper Henderson. Now Duffy robs Bannon in the midfield area, and Henderson, wearing all orange, will clear it wide to the far side. But again, the goalkeepers from both teams playing their defenders into trouble. O'Connell, I don't think, appreciated the ball wide on the far side, the left. He was challenged by Reach, and O'Connell just nudged it out of play for a throw into Wednesday.
Yeah, probably something that he didn't need to do. I think he could look to play a little bit further forward. There's a time and place to play out from the back if it's not putting your defenders under unnecessary pressure. So it allows Sheffield Wednesday to get ironic cheers from the Sheffield United supporters that they've now got to throw in. But it shows you, going back to your talking there, that both teams have, and no matter what size of club they are, you've got no divine right, have you, to be in the top divisions. Both teams were in League One not so long ago. I remember being a Huddersfield manager when both these teams were in League One. Actually, Sheffield Wednesday got promoted, and we played Sheffield United at Wembley in the playoff final.
It was a never-ending penalty shootout.
The goalkeeper Steve Simonson put one into the top row at Wembley for Huddersfield to get promoted. So it just shows you what can happen with clubs over the years. But both will be desperate to try and get back to the Premier League, like a lot of other big clubs in the Championship this moment in time.
And United spent 6 years in League One, and in many of those seasons they were struggling at the wrong end. Here is McGoldrick coming forward now, onto his right foot on the edge of the penalty. Now a left-footed curler, which he never quite got hold of, and in the end it was a routine save down on his knees for Cameron Dawson.
Yeah, twisted well onto his left, onto his right, back onto his left foot. Just couldn't really get the connection to ask too many questions for Dawson. So at least decent play into his feet, hit the target, but no real threat.
Both of these sides have spent time in League One in recent years, and they carried that burden very heavily, because these are two big clubs. Sheffield is a big sporting city, and they really believe they should be in the Premier League. Of course, they were both founder members of the Premier League, and they competed in an FA Cup semi-final down at Wembley back in the first year of the Premier League back in 1993, but since then they played very few games against each other at the top level. As Hector comes forward now for Wednesday on this near side, clips it down the line for Fletcher, but the ball will just evade his grasp, and it's out of play for a throw-in taken quickly by Basham. And on the evidence of even what we've seen, it's 0-0, but United look far better equipped to be in the top end of the table this season than Wednesday.
Yeah, I think so. I think a lot of that will come from confidence as well, that a few good results. Look, it's only a few weeks ago Sheffield Wednesday were up there, and confidence has been hit quite considerably with the last 4 results. They're looking to get something out of this game tonight to kick-start the season again, and relieve a little bit of pressure that the manager's under a little bit from certain quarters. But this second half has started very much like the first half, without Sheffield United being too much in the opposition final third, where they certainly dominated the first 20 minutes of the game.
Well, it's so tight. 2 points cover the top 5, 5 points across the top 8 at the moment. So we have had 5 different leaders already this season in the Championship, including Norwich briefly last weekend, before Leeds went back on top with that win at Wigan. Sheffield United looking to go back to the summit with a win here. Basham infield towards Duffy, coming forward again down the right hand side. It's just dropped off towards Freeman, the wing back, who is forward as ever. Now Duffy finding Freeman, who hits the byline. Penny, though, is clever enough to read his intentions and make the challenge, but United have it back. Here is Freeman, high ball to the far post. Norwood curls the ball in, And eventually it goes all the way across to the left-hand side where it's regathered by Stevens. He plays a 1-2 with McGoldrick, tries to pop the ball back in field for McGoldrick, and Wednesday will clear. But when they get the ball clear, it's the team in red and white who bring it straight back. Here is Norwood again, slid into the penalty area, looking for Sharp, who goes down under the challenge of Hector, but Hector got there first and was entitled to use his strength to get the ball away. And a long ball forward from Wednesday, down the line right-hand side, is headed out of play by O'Connell, and it will be a throw into the visitors.
Yeah, they're the sort of balls that Billy Sharp's thrived on through his years. He's looking for that 10-yard pass where he can just nip off the back of a centre-back who's fallen asleep. On this occasion, Michael Hector was alert to it and cleared the danger, but they're the passes that Billy Sharp will be looking to thrive on, and if it carries on sort of in the manner that it is, with Sheffield United not being...
Well, here is Reach with a long-range shot, and we know what he's capable of, and he struck it left-footed 25 yards out, but high over the crossbar this time.
Well, that's hugely disappointing from Adam Reach over what we've seen of so far this season. That it was a long way out. Obviously had the confidence.
You didn't teach him that, did you?
No, that was Glyn Snodding who did that, my assistant. He had the confidence and belief, but the execution was not quite there. I suppose you can't always fire them into the top corner, can you?
But he's done it with regularity this season, and the rain now, I think, is at its heaviest for the whole evening, and the wind as well is really making it swirl around the stadium. It's very difficult playing conditions for both sides, and I think United have the rain coming into their faces. Here is Basham down the right hand side, on again looking for Freeman, who was in beyond McGoldrick, but it's Thornley who's done well so far, who just makes sure he gets his body between Freeman and the ball, and it's a throw-in level with the edge of the penalty area for United on this near side there right, attacking the Kop end in the second half at Bramall Lane. Duffy looks to turn, but he's quickly challenged by Fox, and here is Duffy again, all the way back to the halfway line at Egan, infield to Norwood. O'Connell is the final man for Sheffield United this time. Every single blue and white shirt is some way behind the ball at the moment. Norwood with a long ball swung way to this near side, the right, and it's gathered superbly by Basham, who needs support. Has it coming short from Sharp. Sharp by the corner flag down the right hand side, twisting and turning beyond the challenge of Thornley, then crosses low into the penalty area. Fox was there to block and then cushion a header away up towards the halfway line, but it's quickly regathered by Duffy. And here is Sharp again, coming in field to find Duffy. McGoldrick wants it on the edge of the penalty area, but it's short towards Norwood, and now the back in field by Freeman, and reaches there just to scuff a clearance up towards the halfway line, but no further than that, and Sheffield United will come again. O'Connell on the left hand side has support from Stevens, and the pressure so far in the second half has not been as incessant as it was at the opening 20 minutes or so, but United coming strong again. 55 minutes played, 0-0 on TalkSport 2, the home of the EFL, live from Bramall Lane. Duffy down the left hand side, McGoldrick in field, but Duffy plays a longer ball, and maybe too long for Basham, is it? No, Basham manages to use an injection of pace to gather, and then he finds Sharp inside the penalty area, back towards Basham again, but here is Stevens popping up down the right hand side. Now the other fullback, Freeman, and it's shot low by Norwood into the crowd. It's blocked by Thornley, and it's just swept clear high over the halfway line by Hector, and Egan has to deal with this on the edge of his own penalty area, and he does well to sidestep Fletcher and find his goalkeeper.
Again, good play from Sheffield United, getting constant ways of attack without really having that final pass. They've been dominating this second half opening period, where Sheffield Wednesday have given the ball away cheaply at times and not regained possession. Sheffield United are getting bodies in around it. They're just not getting that end product at this moment in time. The crowd are really getting behind them, trying to suck that ball into the Kop and try and get that first goal that'll give them that opportunity to try and win the game.
But here is Reed striding forward now for Sheffield Wednesday, down the right hand side. Baker on the overlap, the cross into the penalty area. Oh, it was bobbled initially by Henderson, but he was able to gather at the second attempt. He quickly finds McGoldrick wide towards the far side, the left, and Norwood. He didn't see the challenge coming from Baker, but Baker has fouled him 10 yards inside the Wednesday half, and it will be a free kick. 57 minutes played, and it's still 0-0, and the home crowd desperately trying to get their team to raise their game and offer more inside the penalty area.
I think we spoke about it before the game, that I think the one thing by playing the younger kids for Sheffield Wednesday is they've got the energy, they've got the legs, because you need that when you're playing against the Sheffield United team. That if you give the ball away, you can get up, you can get backwards. It means a lot to them if they're coming through the academy, because they've been in around the city over a number of years. So I think the young boys have done really well for Sheffield Wednesday at this moment in time. Ultimately, they've got to make sure they maintain the concentration, because any lapse of concentration can be detrimental to the good work that they've done so far, especially the defensive side, not necessarily the attacking side.
Cameron Dawson just pops a red balloon with his studs inside the penalty area and then clears long downfield, right-footed, flicked on by Fletcher, but Fox had stayed where he was, and as a result the ball straight out of play, and it will be a throw-in for Sheffield United on this near side. 57.5 minutes played. It is Sheffield United 0, Sheffield Wednesday 0 on TalkSport 2 with Screwfix. For the latest offers, visit your local store or screwfix.com. Here when you need us. Freeman, the right wing back, shrugs off Penny on this near side, finds McGoldrick, who saw his penalty saved by Dawson in the first half. Freeman's low cross into the penalty area, sharp was the target. Lees gets there first, and it's a corner at the Cop end for Sheffield United.
Again, Sheffield United asking questions of him. Ball whipped across the 6-yard box, good defending from Tom Lees. Big corner down this right hand side. Sheffield Wednesday are really sort of defending well. They're getting blocks, they're ending things, but they've got to maintain the level of concentration.
Norwood's corner, a scuffed out swinger into the penalty area, and it's volley clear.
Yeah, he's better than that, Norwood. He should be missing that first man. Yeah, looking for runners to get across there, but he should be missing that first man, because he's got a fantastic right foot.
And 4 members of the backroom team have been deep in conversation inside the Sheffield United technical area as Freeman looks to go to the byline and deliver a cross, but the challenge from Fox smothers the opportunity, and it's behind for another corner. Jack O'Connell might have a problem. Chris Wilder was just having a couple of words with him on the halfway line as that corner was being taken a few moments ago.
And now to do with his lungs overlapping all the time.
Maybe he's knackered. It's a corner on this near side, played short towards Fleck. Fleck's left-footed shot into the crowd, blocked by Reach. It ricochets out wide to the far side, where McGoldrick will get there first, and he plays it back towards Stevens. Now McGoldrick again down the left-hand side. Fleck in support. Duffy also coming across to offer the angle for the cross, but it's Fleck now. Plays a low ball to find Duffy on the edge of the penalty area. Duffy looks to hit the byline beyond Baker. Baker, though, sticks with him. Duffy goes back towards Fleck, thinks about the cross, and then will deliver following a dummy. High to the far post, looking for Egan, and Dawson does really well to gather that ball. Egan was all over him, and Dawson gathered at the second attempt.
Yeah, we mentioned first half, didn't we, that over the last few games that we've seen, Cameron Dawson has not been most convincing when balls are in the box, but certainly there he was under pressure from John Egan and gathered it really well. So real good play from the young goalkeeper.
An hour played, goalless in the Steel City derby on TalkSport 2, the home of the EFL. 3 commentaries coming up on Matchday Live 2 with Russ Williams and Dan Windle tomorrow. Maidenhead against Portsmouth in the FA Cup first round at 12:30. Newcastle against Bournemouth in the Premier League at 3. West Brom against Leeds from the Championship at 5:30. All live on TalkSport 2 tomorrow afternoon. And Matchday Live with Adrian Durham on TalkSport will be followed by Palace against Spurs at 5:30. And Sags on Sunday will have coverage of 4 Premier League games coming up on Sunday, and then on Monday night on TalkSport 2 more FA Cup commentary. Hampton and Richmond will take on Oldham Athletic, and there'll also be news of the second round draw which takes place before that game.
Plenty of games this weekend covered.
Absolutely. I'm doing Met Police against Newport tomorrow in the FA Cup. Looking forward to that.
Careful with them police, you never know if you get out without being handcuffed.
They were very helpful with all the stats. Really helped with my inquiries. Here is Fleck now, wide to the far side, looking for Stevens, overhit, and it's a goal kick.
Yeah, that's probably just sums up Sheffield United to a certain degree, that they're getting around that final 18-yard box, final third, and the final pass has not been good enough or a cross. Chris has got plenty of options on the bench where he can look to the likes of Baldock if he wanted to change the wing back. He wanted Leon Clark and Connor Washington to go up front. You've obviously got Paul Coots in midfield and Marvin Johnson, so he's got plenty of options available if he needs to change it. But I'm pretty sure he'll be quite satisfied to a certain degree, but ultimately he wants to try and get that goal.
Basham bullets a header out of play from Dawson's goal kick, and it will be a throw-in on this near side, which Fox will take. And it's been relatively quiet in the second half in terms of clear-cut chances for either side. Dawson very deliberately plays a back pass from Thornley forward. It's allowed to bounce by the United defence. Reach will chase, and it's played back eventually by Egan towards Henderson, who just takes a touch, and then a long clearance from him, right-footed all the way through towards Cameron Dawson. We're looking at the options on the bench for Sheffield United first of all, Simon. They do have, of course, Connor Washington and Leon Clark striking options. And interesting, Ben Woodburn on loan from Liverpool, not involved in the 18 yet again.
Is he injured? That'd be a question.
He's not in the Wales squad.
Yeah, well, it just it shows the strength in depth that Sheffield United got at this moment in time, and maybe the lad's not playing to his potential and doing enough to warrant a place in it. Regardless of where you're coming from, players are in front of you that are desperate to get into the team. He'll be disappointed because he's a talented footballer, and I'm sure Liverpool will be slightly frustrated that he's not having the game time that they thought he would get, but he's got to work hard to get back into the team or into the squad.
Sheffield United have won a throw-in 10 yards from the corner flag on the far side. Ati Nuiu, Lucas João and Marco Matias are all available for Sheffield Wednesday should they need to strengthen their attacking options, as Lees will just hook a clearance away on the far side, and it will be another throw-in for United. But Billy Sharp has not really had any sort of service to speak of so far, a man with 11 goals so far this season. Nearly 64 minutes played at a very soggy Bramall Lane. 0-0 on TalkSport 2. McGoldrick forces Stevens all the way back towards the halfway line. Egan will now be helped out by the Northern Ireland international Oliver Norwood, who of course played so well last season on loan at Fulham and helped them to promotion in what was a very high quality midfield the longer the season went on. Sharp goes down under a challenge, but Thornley will just boom the ball away again for Sheffield Wednesday. And it's significant the youngsters are doing plenty of the talking for Sheffield Wednesday, and Jordan Thornley there was telling his players to get up and stop being so deep and try and compress the space.
Yeah, good from the youngster, but he's got the know-how of the game and the organisation skills that he wants his players to get out and not accept that they just want to be defending on their 18-yard box.
Here is Paliapesi, the only permanent signing made by Josh Lukai, and that was last January. The Dutchman infield towards Bannon, and now Paliapesi infield again towards Thornley, and Hector will go all the way back towards the halfway line.
I think what's been noticeable tonight, there hasn't been that real edge to the game, has there? You're talking about a Steel City derby and a derby match in where there's tackles normally flying in. That's not really been the case tonight. It's been a lot of composed possession from Sheffield United. Both teams have kept their heads well.
Well, at times Wednesday have not been able to get near them, and when they've had the ball they've not done too much with it. But we are still 0-0 with 65 minutes played on TalkSport 2. McGoldrick back to the halfway line for Sheffield United, and O'Connell wide to the far side, and Stevens, and both wing backs for Sheffield United have spent virtually the whole game inside opposition territory. Such has been the lack of threat in the wide areas from Sheffield Wednesday, but by doing that of course they're pinning back the likes of Baker on the far side, the right, and Penny down this near side, the left. Now Stevens infield towards McGoldrick, but Paliapesi was able to lunge in and try and win the ball back. He did so momentarily, but here comes Sheffield United again. Basham on this near side, the white back of his shirt sticking to his back due to the wet conditions here. Now Basham again. A high curling cross into the penalty area, and it skims the roof of the netting, and it's a goal kick.
Yeah, again, poor final delivery really. They get into the wide area looking to ask questions of Sheffield Wednesday's back three, back five, and goes behind and lands straight on the top of the goal, and that's been the big disappointment. I think you can give a lot of credit to Sheffield Wednesday that they've had plenty of bodies behind the ball and there's been no space for Sharp and McGoldrick, but when the teams do that, the opposition, then Sheffield United have to come up with a different way of trying to win the game. They've got to try and move it a little bit quicker. Can they get it into the feet of McGoldrick, Sharp, getting runners off them rather than relying on balls going in the box where the back three have been quite comfortable so far.
Fletcher wins a header from Dawson's goal kick, but he couldn't pick out either Reach or Penny, and Penny today has done well. He's almost playing not quite a number 10 role, but he is playing in midfield, a player who's been left-hand side of midfield, left wing-back, left full-back since arriving in the Sheffield Wednesday team, but he does seem to have something about him.
Yeah, I've been impressed by all the youngsters, to be fair. I thought Baker on the right wing-back role has been very good defensively, not got forward too much. Thornley on the left side of the three centre-backs has been composed, talked a lot, and as you said, excuse me, Penny in midfield has energy, got on the ball, and been bright when he's had it, should I say.
Here is McGoldrick wide towards the far side, and Stevens, who looks to work the 1-2 with Fleck, and now Stevens heading towards the byline, cuts the ball back but only finds Lees, who has time to turn and launch it forward up towards the halfway line. It's really well controlled in mid-air by O'Connell, who then plays it back towards Egan, and Egan is ushering all of his teammates forward here to try and create some sort of press, which has been rather sporadic for Sheffield United in the second half. We're past the three-quarter mark of the game, and it's still goalless. Third against 17th in the table, but of course local rivalry has done much to close that gap so far in terms of endeavour, if not quality. Now Duffy finding Freeman down this near side, back towards Duffy again. McGoldrick spins away from the challenge of Lees, square towards Fleck, 30 yards out. Fleck goes further wide towards Stevens, who comes back in field, a high cross into the area. Norwood looking to rise for the header, nodded clear by Pellier-Pessi, and then McGoldrick losing out, and Bannon tries to scoop a clearance with the outside of his left foot to find Reach, but instead here is Fleck. Fleck now on the corner of the penalty area, finding Duffy, but at times Sheffield United have been just a bit too intricate. Duffy's dab in field takes a deflection off Bannon, to throw into United on the far side.
It wouldn't surprise me if it goes much longer with Chris looks to maybe just do something different personnel wise. I don't think he'll change the shape, because that's how they play and that's how they've been successful, but maybe a different personnel in midfield, Coops coming on, or another striker, to ask questions of the bodies that are behind the ball for Sheffield Wednesday.
Now Fleck inside the penalty area, finding Freeman down the left-hand side. Billy Sharp was square, waiting for the pullback, but it never came, and Wednesday will look to break now, but it's a dreadful ball from Bannon. Straight to O'Connell, and then Bannon, in his frustration, has cleaned somebody out on the far side. But here is Fleck now, playing the advantage, and it's Stevens who was caught by Bannon. Stevens with the cross, which is nodded away unchallenged by Thornley, and I think the referee may go back to that challenge when play stops. Here is Norwood, wide towards Duffy on the right-hand side now for Sheffield United. Duffy's got support in field from Basham. Basham's cross is blocked by Fox, and the referee awards the corner, and will now have at least a word with Barry Bannon. More than that, it's a yellow card, and rightly so.
Yeah, one out of frustration. He's just given the ball away so cheaply twice in the space of 20 seconds. Not like Barry to do that. Just a tackle out of frustration, mistimed, and he accepts it. It's a yellow card, and the right decision from Andrew Madley.
Inside the final 20 minutes on TalkSport 2, 0-0 in the Steel City derby at Bramall Lane. Norwood's corner, high to the far post, the big men all rising, but none of them got a touch, and it's Penny who will try and pick his way through the penalty area to bring it clear for Wednesday, and just plays it down the line. He knew there was nobody there, but it does try and give his team a couple of seconds breathing space. Fleck with a high cross in towards the near post area, glanced on by Sharp, but it's gathered on this near side by Fox, who will just clear it long downfield, but it quickly comes back. McGoldrick now inside the penalty area, looking to turn in field, but it was Thornley who's been superb for Wednesday with another excellent challenge. And here is Fletcher now moving forward at the other end. Reach picks out Fletcher inside the penalty area, left hand side, and the challenge is made by O'Connell, and it's a Wednesday corner with 19 minutes to play.
Good work from Sheffield Wednesday, defending their 18-yard box. Then they kept possession of the ball. Then got it into Fletcher, back into Reach, who then drove at the back three of Sheffield United and led to this resulting corner. And big team Sheffield Wednesday. This might be the only way that they look like they're going to score at this moment in time.
Peliapesi will take the corner, an in-swinger, right-footed towards the far post. McGoldrick rising, unmarked to head the ball away. Baker will try and get there before Sharp, and he does so, but all he can do is just launch it out of play, and it will be a throw-in for Sheffield United, and that's a missed opportunity for Sheffield Wednesday.
It's just like the first half, isn't it? It's a constant wave of attacks from Sheffield United. Sheffield Wednesday give it away. Sheffield United attack, but no goals at this morning time.
Here is Fleck now on the left corner of the penalty area, finding Stevens. Lees is drawn out of the centre to try and make the challenge. Reach now doubles up to try and cut the route off to goal for Fleck, but now Norwood does well to find O'Connell, who rides to the challenge of Reach and moves forward towards the edge of the penalty area. Billy Sharp now plays it back towards O'Connell. It was the right sort of idea. O'Connell hadn't been picked up, but the ball was overhit and it's swooped on by Dawson.
Well, it's just what we mentioned before, wasn't it, that instead of crossing it all the time, looking to get it into Billy Sharp's feet or McGoldrick's feet and then try and get a runner off them, unfortunately the execution from Billy Sharp back into Jack O'Connell, who continued his run, wasn't there. So Sheffield Wednesday still defending well, the numbers back, but ultimately United have got to find a way of breaking them down.
Sharp chasing a long ball forward. Lees does well to judge the bounce of the ball and clear, but McGoldrick steps in before Thornley to win it back for United. Here is Duffy now on the left side of the penalty area. Stevens is trying to get forward in support from wing back, and now he does so. Stevens infield towards Sharp, back towards Stevens again, and it's Baker with a really good challenge at the expense of a corner.
That's better, good link-up play. Fullback's playing it into the striker of Billy Sharp, continued the run. He's clever enough to see the run, but again, good defensive unit from Sheffield Wednesday, bodies behind him, and managed to poke it out for a corner.
Leon Clark will be on shortly for United. Norwood's corner, whipped into the near post, flicked on by Duff, and it struck Baker inside the 6-yard area, and time seemed to stand still as it bobbled right on the goal line before it was hacked clear.
That's a better ball from Oliver Norwood, that he whips it into that near post area, and the young kid Baker didn't have a clue that the ball had just hit him, could have gone anywhere, but there's enough bodies in around it. Like we mentioned earlier, David McGoldrick's going to come off and Leon Clark's going to come on. Just something different in terms of personnel, same shape, but Leon Clark will be looking to get that home crowd in the Kop something to cheer about.
Well, he scored 6 goals in 6 games against Sheffield Wednesday since leaving Hillsborough. His last act in a blue and white shirt was to break his foot celebrating a goal against Crystal Palace on the final day of the 2010 season. When Wednesday needed to beat Palace to stay up, they drew 2-2. Clark scored, kicked an advertising hoard and broke his foot, and that was it. And he's been at various points of the compass since, but he scored twice at Hillsborough in the 4-2 win last season, but only 1 goal so far this season.
The one thing he does is he knows where the back of the net is, doesn't he? He's sort of throughout his career, whether it's been in the Championship, sometimes in the Premier League, down to League One, I think even League Two, that he's gone round the block, that's for sure.
This is 17th club, including loans.
That is round the block.
Yeah, round a few blocks. But November was his month last season. He scored 9 goals in 5 games last November, including 4 against Hull City, and a hat-trick here in that remarkable game against Fulham, which United lost 5-4. And in many ways, that was the turning point of their season. They were flying up to that game, but following that loss, it was only 1 win in 10. And they got only 7 victories in the second half of the season.
I think Chris Wilder and Sheffield United fans will be, if he manages to score 1 goal in November this time and it's tonight, then they'll certainly take that. So they need to get the supply into him though. Sheffield Wednesday trying to slow the game down. This has been an interesting game for Sheffield Wednesday in terms of off the back of 4 straight defeats that they've been very defensive minded. If the game had been at Hillsborough, then it would have been had to be a different type of game. They couldn't sit back at Hillsborough and defend with plenty bodies behind the box because the home crowd wouldn't allow that. Because away from home, you get away with doing that, and they'd be more than happy to get a point at the local rivals who could go top tonight. It looks like they're going to go and make a substitution, Sheffield Wednesday as well, soon.
It's turning into a very similar game to the one here last season. Lukai's first one in charge when Glenn Louvens was sent off, and then Wednesday did a really good job of just putting the block on and making sure they got the 0-0 draw. Lees with a long ball forward for Wednesday. Egan will just guide it back towards his goalkeeper Henderson, who for long spells has been a spectator in the second half, defending the goal away to our left-hand side. The wind and rain continues to batter Bramall Lane as Norwood works it wide to the far side, and O'Connell. A cushion ball over the top. Fleck does well to head the ball back in field. Sharp was the supporting player, but Pelliapessi got a foot in just to hook the ball away on the far side, and then Baker challenges O'Connell, and it will be a throw-in to United. A crowd in excess of 30,000 inside this stadium tonight. 30,261 as Freeman comes forward now for United. Infield towards Leon Clark, wearing gloves on what is a fairly mild evening. It's very wet, but it's not cold. Here is Freeman again. Now Clark back in field looking for Basham, and it's cleared away by Thornley up to the halfway line, nodded down by Fletcher, and it's gathered by Reach, and Wednesday have options here coming forward. It's Barry Bannon back towards this left hand side, and he's found his fellow Scott Fletcher on the corner of the penalty area. Penny on his outside, back again towards Fox, only 2 inside the penalty area. It's looking for Reach, and it's flicked on by Basham, and it almost found Baker at the far post. It's gone behind for a corner, but it could have been far worse for United.
Yeah, good counter-attack from Wednesday there, ended up at Morgan Foxall with his good left foot, put a great ball in the box. Sheffield United were at full stretch there trying to defend it. We're just looking down here now, looks like Matthias is coming on. Just wondering Adam Reach coming off, so he'll just go and play as that.
No, it's Penny who's coming off.
Oh sorry, I saw him coming over towards.
He's coming to this near side for instructions, Adam Reach, but Matt Penny's done well.
Yeah, he has.
He's gone down rather too easily on a couple of occasions, but Marco Matias will replace him, one of the Portuguese players signed by Carlos Carvajal. 3 goals so far this season, and this is return from injury with just over 11 minutes to play in the Steel City derby on TalkSport 2. Still goalless. Bannon's corner swirled high into the penalty area. Thornley was looking to nod it down. Shirts being pulled on both sides. Matthias with his first touch strikes it into the crowd. It hit Basham, and now Matthias again coming forward, and Freeman almost got himself in a real tangle. It is gathered by Henderson. There's a United player down inside the penalty area, and the referee has players protesting from both sides.
Oh, that would have been some start from Matthias. Got a strike off edge of the box, managed to get the second phase, played into Stephen Fletcher, played a little 1-2, and it looked like he was going to be first to get on the ball, and Dean Henderson did really well, and I think he carried on his run and went into him. I don't think there's anything in that challenge. I think we've got Chris Basham, who's down from the original block. But he's got some talent, hasn't he, Matthias? I've seen him score a couple of decent goals. Looks like he's going to go and play a little bit higher up the pitch, replace Adam Reach, who's dropping into the midfield area, where Matt Penny was filling up to being replaced. Again, Sheffield Wednesday doing what they needed to do at this moment in time, and if it ends up 0-0, they'll be the team that are going to be more happy with the result rather than Sheffield United.
Basham coming across towards this near side following treatment. 10 minutes to play. United 0, Wednesday 0 in the Steel City derby on TalkSport 2 with Screwfix, proud partners of the EFL, here when you need us. And tomorrow, no cricket of course. England have already wrapped up the first test in Gaul, winning by 211 runs. The second test, live and exclusive from Candy, ball-by-ball commentary starts on Wednesday morning. But we do have Matchday Live 2 tomorrow with Russ Williams. Maidenhead against Portsmouth, Newcastle against Bournemouth, West Brom against Leeds. 3 back-to-back commentaries coming up tomorrow afternoon, with Palace against Spurs over on Talk Sport as part of Matchday Live with Adrian Durham. Sharp coming forward now down the right-hand side. Hector is with him stride for stride, and as the ball broke away on the near side, the final touch was off Sharp, and it will be a throw into Sheffield Wednesday, who will now be in the area of trying to manage the clock with 9 minutes to play.
Yeah, they'll look to take the sting out of the game. They'll take the time with the set pieces, throw-ins, try and get it into Fletcher. Matthias just playing off him, and keep the back five in play. Make sure that they don't go too far away, get the distances right, that they're covering each other, they're getting the blocks in that they've done so far. And if they can get this first clean sheet of the season, then they can be very pleased. But they've still got plenty to do tonight.
Here is Matthias now, finding Bannon just inside the Wednesday half, into United territory now, and Matthias has been caught by Stevens, and it's a Wednesday free kick, and Matthias gets a round of applause from Barry Bannon, because they have the free kick, and more importantly at this stage of the game, they're just winding down the clock, and they've given their defenders a breather. Yeah,
it's what they've needed. Allows them all to get up. It's got the 3 big centre halves, so they'll probably go forward. Again, they can be out, you can be out the game for large parts, but it only takes a decent ball in from a set piece to try and win you the game, or to win you the game.
Free kick played in by Bannon, high into the penalty area towards the far post. Lees leapt and won the header, but it will go out of play on this near side for a throw in to Sheffield United, 10 yards from the corner flag. And they look like a side, United, who've maybe just run out of steam.
Yeah, it looked like they've just not having that zip that they had in the first half. I think it'd have been a completely different story if the penalty had gone in, because it would have meant that Wednesday would have had to come out, but they've maintained the shape well, and you never know what we got 10 minutes or so to go, they might try and nick one.
Here is Baker coming forward now to try and do that, and he almost shrugs off the challenge of Stevens, who sticks with him well and then clears it down the line. Lees goes into the back of Sharp, and it's Lees who's come off worst, and there's a possibility here for Sheffield United, but Duffy with a rather tired run forward, and it's Bannon who steps in to win it back, and then Hector who clears. Now Norwood just clips it over the top, and it's some way beyond Sharp, who will do his best to try and keep the ball in play, but it's gone behind for a goal kick, and we have 7 minutes to play on Talk Sport 2, and it's still 0-0.
Yeah, just as we're talking about Sheffield Wednesday having that back five in there, we've got young Baker looking to get forward, gives the ball away, which opened a little bit more space for Sheffield United to break into. But when you look at the overall picture of the game, neither goalkeeper has been having to make loads of saves, has he? I don't think.
Not since the penalty save.
Cameron Dawson has probably had one, maybe two saves to make that have been on target the whole game, and that'll be disappointing from Chris's perspective, that when you look at Sheffield United, I think they've had 15-16 shots and only 3 on target, and I think you need to do a little bit more when you're the home team. But ultimately you've got to give the opposition credit that they've defended their 18-yard box and got blocks in when's required.
Fleck though charging over the halfway line now. Peliapesi with an excellent recovery challenge, but it's won back quickly by United. Here is Duffy now, 25 yards out, cut square of reach on the edge of the penalty area, fires in the shot, which was gathered comfortably over his head by Cameron Dawson, and United have a player down, and it's Stevens, and Dawson bowls it out of play towards this near side so Stevens can receive some treatment. Yeah, a couple of 50-50 challenges that Stevens got in for one of them. Referee did well that he allowed play to continue because they had the advantage. I don't know, it looks like he's booking young Ashley Baker because he was the one who made the challenge on him in the first place. Again, another shot on target, but it wasn't anything that really affected Cameron Dawson. McGoldrick had a left foot shot, which was the one on target, which was a little bit tame. So it's just in that final third where games obviously are won, and something needs to happen from an individual that is going to break the deadlock in this tight affair so far tonight. 4.5 minutes to play on Talk Sport 2. Sheffield United 0, Sheffield Wednesday 0. It would be only 1 win in 5 for Sheffield United and a first point in 5 for Sheffield Wednesday. Fletcher wins it back and finds Bannon. Here is Reach now with a good ball wide to the right hand side, and Matthias, who turns around, then a back heel, releases Baker, who looks to sprint to the byline. He was challenged by Stevens, and the final touch was off the Irishman. Well, it's a corner to Wednesday.
They're growing a bit more confidence, aren't they? Look, young Baker's been forward more in the last 2 minutes than he has done in the previous 70-80 minutes, and that's just the confidence that coming, trying to nick one late on, and the same with Morgan Fox down his left hand side.
Bannon's corner swept into the near post area, and again it's not the greatest delivery, and Sharp is able to stoop and clear. Baker gets there first, but all he can do is just hack it into the John Street stand on the far side, and it will be a throw-in for Sheffield United, midway inside their own half. 3.5 minutes to play. 0-0. Basham comes forward now for Sheffield United. He takes a chance, invites the challenge from Matthias, but then evades him, finds Freeman. But United have to be patient once again. And really, the steam, you could almost see it go out of their side at about 70 minutes, and even with Leon Clark on the field, fresher legs, he's simply not had the service.
Yeah, they've just not had the service, not had the space to be able to play into feet, into little pockets for Duffy, because he's always had somebody in around him. Fleck and Norwood have always been marked by the tight midfield three from Sheffield Wednesday, but that's what you got to be able to manage when you're pushing to go top, and you're the home team. You've got to try and find a different way of winning, and so far from Sheffield United's perspective they've not been able to do that.
Well, Wednesday have home games coming up after this against Derby and Bolton, and of course the international break to come, and this would at least give them some sort of platform and much more confidence, because Josh Lukai came into this game under pressure following the manner of the defeat against Norwich last weekend, but they've been a good deal more solid here, and a number of players look like they've been playing for the shirt.
Yeah, it does. As I mentioned earlier, I think it will.
Oh, Hector got on the wrong side of Leon Clark, and then Clark was bulldozing his way towards goal midway inside the Wednesday half, and Hector just hauled him down, and it's a free kick.
I think one of the easy decisions for Andrew Madley there, that Sheffield United free kick and a yellow card for Michael Hector. Clark used his strength, Will turned him, just pulled him back with his shirt, and rightly so got a yellow card.
We are ticking towards the 90th minute. Every single blue and white striped shirt is back defending. Bannon just standing over the free kick to prevent the quick take. Every outfield player is now inside the Sheffield Wednesday half. Bannon finally retreats 10 yards. Dawson looking to cover all the angles, bellows out from his goal line. Norwood's delivery high to the far post is absolutely woeful. Straight out of play for a goal kick.
Well, in a way that just sums up Sheffield United when they've got into the final third. Somebody of Norwood's quality puts the ball, he's got a good area to hit it into, and he over-hits it and it goes out for a harmless goal kick, and that's the big sigh of disappointment from the Sheffield United fans, because they wanted to see some goal-mouth action. They want to try and suck that ball into to the home net, but it looks like the game could just peter out into a 0-0 draw. But we've still got 3 or 4 minutes probably when the fourth official puts up the injury time board. Swansea, the only side to win here on the opening day of the season. And it's been 5 wins and 2 draws since. But here is Matthias with a shot on the turn and never got hold of it, with Fletcher in a good position, and it's gathered by Henderson. Got on the half turn, looked to the shot, managed to hit the target, but certainly carried no weight behind it and didn't threaten the goal. And that's been the case for both teams. All eyes now on the fourth official as United look to bring it forward. O'Connell on the left-hand side. 3 added minutes at the end of this game. There's only been 1 change for either side, and the Traders have only been on once. Stevens tried to find Clark, and Clark screams in frustration at Stevens. He was looking for the earlier ball down the left-hand channel, but
United look to be more patient, and now Stevens is found by Norwood in more space down the left, infield towards Duffy, inside the penalty area now. Sharp waiting for the cross at the far post. Duffy back towards Stevens again, but Hector is there, and Hector just sends it into the back row of the family stand on the far side, and it will be a throw-in for Sheffield United, and we are into those 3 added minutes.
Again, covering bodies around. The little Duffy tries to break into the box, but Tom Lee's Hector always seem to pick up that second ball. Again, going to be, can they work something? Can they get at least an attempt on target to really try and work Cameron Dawson's goal?
Wednesday inching towards their first clean sheet of the season at the 17th attempt. Now Duffy infield towards O'Connell, the crowd urging more urgency. Duffy again inside the penalty area down the left hand side. It's got support from Fleck with a cross into the near post area, and it's deflected behind for a corner.
I think that was the time where they could have put it in for a bit earlier, ask a question into the last couple of minutes with a little bit of nervousness amongst the Sheffield United Wednesday players who've not kept a clean sheet. Can they defend this corner?
Norwood will take it. It's an in-swinger high into the penalty area. Sharp header, and it's just wide. And that was the chance for Billy Sharp, and he almost provided an injury time winner.
Smallest man in that 6-yard box, got free. Good ball, I think, from Oliver Norwood again. And again, you'd like to see him released at the target and ask a question from Cameron Dawson. Can you make a save? But again, nothing there for the goalkeeper to work him. So yeah, it looks like Sheffield Wednesday are going to do a job on the nearest rivals. Kept a clean sheet, which they've been striving for, as you said, 17 games, is it now? But Sheffield United have been a little bit disappointed. They've not asked too many more questions than they have tonight.
Well, they have a throw-in on the far side, but we are inside the final minute of added time at the end of this game. Has to go long now from Sheffield United, and it does. Clark is the target. Clark wins the header, and he's got the free kick right on the edge of the penalty area. Well, I thought Clark and Thornley were pulling at each other on the edge of the penalty area, but Andy Madley has given the free kick to United.
Yeah, I'm with you there, Nigel. It looked like they both had hold of each other's shirt. It certainly needed to go from back to front, at least try and ask a question of the Sheffield Wednesday back 4-5. Yeah, soft free kick, unless we've missed something that he's pulling his shirt before we've actually seen both of them at it.
Well, there is some debate inside the technical area.
This is a great position now for Oliver Norwood with his right foot quite central. Fleck with his left foot. The Sheffield United fans will be desperate to suck this ball into the back of the net, and if it goes in, wow, this place is going to go through the roof.
Well, this is the game right here. Norwood kills it right-footed, and it's beaten away by Dawson. And that's it, the final action of the game. Cameron Dawson, the hero for Sheffield Wednesday, with his first half penalty save and a save right at the end. It's Sheffield Wednesday's first clean sheet of the season, and it ends their losing streak, and Sheffield United miss out on the opportunity to go clear at the top of the table, now level on points with Leeds and Norwich. Once again in the Steel City derby at Bramall Lane, it is finished 0-0.